thanks for joining me on this not only very belated but also very special episode. This is a special one as it is for all of you who think they cannot beat the AI or anyone who thinks these trials are too hard. As you can see, this is the noob edition, so I want to start things off a little bit differently. For all of you who struggle with these races, let's see how my first attempt at this championship went. First race, and I start in the middle of the pack. And from the finish line, I can get up to 6th place, 5th, 4th, pretty fast. And well, that was it for that race, as I also finished in 4th place. Unfortunately, only one other teammate can cash in any points, all of which means that we hardly have any points. Our 400 points against their 2650. And Team Drivatar easily wins this first race of the championship. Things are now looking poorly already, especially as our team seems to exist out of people unable to handle these massive cars. So, for the next race, I start dead last, but again I can gain some positions early on. But then the shenanigans of the first couple of corners, people again having some difficulty controlling their cars. I assume there was no way around it. And through all of these corners I end up in 6th place. But not for long, as we jump to a later point, still in the first lap, where a couple of Drivatars battle it out and I can pass them. Things are looking good at this point. Looking even very good. That is until the teammate in front decides to visit the wall on the finish line. And that makes me gain one position. And I stay there until the last part on the last lap, where I have a better line than my teammate, and that makes me pass him, gain 2nd place, and that's also where I finish. The Drivatar in front was unbeatable, you know, just like the difficulty level actually indicates. Yet again, we do not have the points to beat Team Drivatar. At this point, we already lost the championship. Last race is for honor only, but not as we know it, Jim. For people who didn't realize, that was a partial quote from the original Star Trek series. But enough Star Trek, let's head to the final race. And the final race is another point-to-point race. And in that race, well, I start down the pack, and as always I gain positions early on while everybody else starts dropping off, and I keep gaining places and gaining places until the next corner, where I can gain 1st position. And well, that is where I also will be finishing. I win, get the race victory, but of course Team Drivatar wins the championship. While the scoreboard does its thing, one piece of advice: do not quit. The experience you get from doing the race might just help you get a better position in the next attempt. Double true if you're driving something out of your comfort zone. So I actually think it's funny, but in a bad kind of way, that I was the only one who persisted. Yes, you can count on others to help you get the victory, but sometimes all it takes is a couple of positions near the end to get a race victory. Not everybody needs to finish first to win. And this leads us to the actual championship that I will be showing you. As the subtitle already implied, these 3 races are the good, the bad and the ugly, which happens to be a trinity all on its own. For now, I will not yet spoil which of the 3 the first race is. And the first one is the Derwent Reservoir Sprint, and as you can see, I am starting in dead last position. That might already reveal a first clue. We do have a nice mix of cars, as the Holy Trinity was the Porsche 918 Spider, the McLaren P1 and the Ferrari LaFerrari. As I did the previous one with a Porsche, I decided to take the Ferrari for a spin this time around. Also, Team Drivatar mixed things up and uses all 3 cars. They listened to my complaint from the previous video. Go check that one out. We start, and the one in front has a slow start, and that causes me to slow down to not hit him. I can pass him, but I do lose some ground to the rest of the pack. I can catch them soon enough, but all of this fog messes things up. And it messes things up pretty bad for me. For too long I remain uncertain whether I should respawn, and I do, but it confuses me even more as the respawn places me behind the checkpoint that I missed. And then it does place me at the correct location, but I lost so much time that I will have a very poor run regardless of my performance of the remainder of this race. And I assume one other teammate had similar issues, as he is just in front of me. The only goal I can set for myself is to catch him. And of course, try to run this course as cleanly and as fast as possible. For the moment we have the first 3 positions and also the last 3. Nevertheless, that is enough points. If we can finish like this, it would make us the victorious team. Looking at the minimap, I have very little chance of catching any Drivatar, so most likely I will not be contributing any points to the totals. Nevertheless, I do try my best. You never know what might happen further down the road, and as our victory is very precarious, it might just boil down to someone gaining 1 position on one Drivatar near the end. 1 place can make a difference in these races, so never give up and always do your best to get the best possible race, to get the best possible position. And I just passed the teammate in front as he misjudged 1 corner. If something like that happens with one of the 3 in the front, we lose the race. And even if it is a certain loss for you, just consider it a practice session and an opportunity to get better acquainted with the car. McFlufferton had that same spirit and gained 1 place or even 2 places, increasing our total points and the likelihood to win the race. And I cross the finish line in 11th position. We have enough points, and that secures our first victory point in this championship, where I contributed absolutely nothing. At least not to the points. We can cross the bad from our little list, as this was just a bad luck race where I could not have any impact on the result whatsoever. That leaves us with the good and the ugly. Which of the 2 will the next race be? From the intro, you already know that we now head towards a circuit race. 3 laps around the Lakehurst Cups circuit. Will I now be able to leave some kind of mark on the result, or will I continue my unlucky streak? My starting position is not much better than in the first race, but what will my finish position look like? I already fear the first couple of corners and their inevitable shenanigans. Let's go find out how well this race will go for me. My first overtake is a clean one, and well, then even before the first corner the Drivatars already lose their heads. 1 teammate in the woods, and well, shenanigans all over the place. I try to avoid as much as possible, and coming towards this faster section I'm up in 4th place. And then I also gain 3rd place quite easily, as I passed a Drivatar that was almost standing still. First 4 positions are ours with me in third. Things are looking quite good. I really like this section. But for some reason I seem not to be able to drive it properly in this car. Also in the first attempt of the championship I was only able to get it right once out of the 3 laps. We continue our journey with our team holding now the first 5 positions. People seem to be really digging this race. I had a better run these first couple of corners and now right on the tail of second position. I'm trying to give him enough space and then he sees me and he seems to back out to give me space. Thanks a lot. Something like that really helps. That is another piece of advice. If you are not able to keep up with the better drivers, do not battle them. Give them space. Let them try to win the race for you. If you hit someone, block someone, even push someone out of a checkpoint, your chances of winning the championship also diminishes. Just let them fight your battle for you and help them instead of trying to cling on to something you can't hold on anyway. And then we can now start the last lap in second place with the leader far away. He has a checkered flag behind his name, so that must mean nobody can catch him. I had a decent run through these corners for once, finally. We still have the first 4 places and a majestic lead in points, barring a cataclysmic event in which all of the human players are annihilated by whatever causes the catastrophe. We will be winning this race too. And finally, I also have a decent run through this section. Again, only 1 out of 3, and again, this will see me in second place. Last straight to the finish line. And indeed, it is second place. Second place for me and a whole lot of points for the human team. That covers the good portion of this championship as we win this race. And we already had the bad race, so remainder in this The Holy Trinity Co-op Championship is the ugly. But first, enjoy our victory point. And state the obvious. Last race is for honor only, as we have 2 points and a certain championship victory. But as the last race bears the subtitle The Ugly, chances are there is not a lot of honor to be found there. Last race is a point-to-point race, where I finished first when competing against the drivatars on my own, as we saw in the intro. So, where does it all go wrong? What kind of misfortune befalls me in the Lake District Sprint? Starting position is on the front row of the human team, so it can't be that. The teammate that won the previous race is now in pole, so that's also a good sign. From the get-go, everything looks hunky-dory and we are all ready for a blast. It just happens to be a very different kind of blast in this last race, at least for me. The start is decent and I gain a lot of positions. Even though there was some pushing and shoving, a little push from a drivatar and then a big shove from a teammate, and that is a missed checkpoint for me. Remembering the wonderful solution from the first race, I decide to take matters in my own hands and back up to the checkpoint myself, and off we go. There is a lost drivatar on the side of the road, so that is one position I can quickly and easily claim. There is one other drivatar in front, so at least I have something worth fighting for. But as it seems, his position is also quickly gained, and looking at the minimap, that was most likely it for this race. Or not, as the drivatar is able to maintain supersonic speeds, coming up to a blue driver who seems ghosted out. The drivatar brakes, which causes me to lose control and miss yet another checkpoint. This time I respawn quickly, but spawn quite a way back. Now looking at the minimap, I just know this race is over. There is absolutely no way I can gain any positions. Nevertheless, I'm not in last position and I still try to get a clean race, and that actually makes me close in fast on the positions in front. The twisty section is coming up and this race is not baptized the ugly only for the 2 missed checkpoints. Well, also for a little bit of shenanigans all on my own, as this is, well, the first wall bump. And in contrary with the race in the first attempt, this part now goes actually a lot smoother. And also, this goes very well. Not as fast as I would have liked it, but cleanly. But then I go in way too hard. And as the countdown already starts, I'm too eager to gain, almost losing control of my car. I straighten up and head for the finish line. And on the minimap, it becomes obvious someone is in trouble. Within viewing distance of the finish line, I am able to catch one last teammate, which of course does not affect the points. But we have enough points. Be it just barely, we have enough. But both our points are very important, because without those we would not have won this race. Not that it changes who wins the championship this time, but it does prove my point. Even in the last positions you can make a difference. So, for everybody out there thinking you cannot win these trials, give it a shot. Even with shoddy results as mine, you can still get a victory. I finished 11th in the first race, 2nd in the second race and 10th in the last race. Not what you would call great results. And in the second race we had so many points that even if I would have been lost, we probably still would have won. That Rimac is mine, even though I probably did not really deserve it. So give it a try, just like you should give the buttons below a try. I hope you enjoyed this special version of the Holy Trinity Co-op Championship. The Holy Trinity I renamed to The Good, The Bad and The Ugly, the Noob Edition. And hope to see you next time.